Hello everyone and welcome to episode 25 of the Six Sided Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, the Taxman, and you'll have to forgive me a little bit if my voice is a little bit rough. I've been battling quite the chest cough, cold, infection, whatever you want to call it, so it's been a little bit rough. We'll try and get through this one, and hopefully I'm not too grating for you guys, not any more than usual, I would assume, at least, in this episode. So thank you all for joining me. Just want to give a quick shout out to our couple new YouTube subscribers. So we have Luis Morales, Nasty Gaming, and Welsh Gamer Guy. Welcome aboard, everyone. As usual, if you subscribe to the YouTube page and your profile is set to public, then I can see that you subscribed and I give you a shout out on the next available show. Conversely, if you have subscribed and your profile is set to private, just shoot me a message, let me know, and I'll be sure to get you a shout out on the next available show. So last week I talked about how this show is going to be changing format a little bit, so this one is really going to get into that style of format, so I got a lot to get into. First off though, we're just going to jump through the results from Impact Wrestling. That would be from October 18th, 2018. In Knockouts action, we have Ty Valkyrie defeating Katrina. Next we had Ethan Page with Matt Sydal opening his third eye, defeating Trevor Lee. Thirdly, we had Killer Kross absolutely destroying Tommy Dreamer in a match. Go and watch this one if you missed it from last week. Just the more I see Killer Kross, this guy's incredible. But anyways, like I said, destroys Tommy Dreamer in this match, as you would assume from Killer Kross. In another Knockouts match, we have Allie with Kiera Hogan defeating Alicia. And then in process, she's adding a couple of layers to her soulless Allie character that she's portraying right now, which I'm sure I'm going to speak about more at the end of these tapings because I'm really curious where that storyline is going to go. And in our main event, we had Brian Cage defending the X Division Championship against Rich Swann. We did have Brian Cage ended up picking the win, and we had a little in-ring interference afterwards from Sami Callihan, setting them up for a future match, I'm sure, after the events from Bound for Glory. So all in all, this show was pretty good, actually, coming out of Bound for Glory. Just a couple of highlights I wanted to touch on. I enjoyed that they had, normally I'm not a big fan of this, but I enjoyed that they had Johnny Impact kick off the show with his title rating promo, kind of alluding a little bit to the, we'll say, mishappenings at Bound for Glory, which again I'm going to talk to later in this show. But more importantly, putting over that he's going to be a defending champion and he gets a challenger right away in Phoenix, and that's going to be this coming week, Phoenix and Johnny Impact for the Impact World Championship. Also in this show, I have to say I really enjoyed what they have planned and are planning with Allie. I've been saying for a while now that she kind of needs something to happen to her because she's kind of been stagnant in my opinion. And was really impressed that they are actually going to go full bore with this whole kind of dark, soulless Allie character. I'm really seeing how far they push the envelope, especially considering that we are now going to Impact After Dark, as it were, as they switch time slots, I should say, to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this coming week. That would be October the 25th this coming week. So if you happen to miss this past week's episode, I suggest that you go back and look at it. Usually shows after pay-per-views kind of go one of two ways. They're either really heavy on debuting personalities, or they are more storyline driven. And this one was very much setting up storylines for the rest of the New York tapings and beyond. So obviously as these tapings progress and we get to the end of the, I believe will be 4 weeks of tapings that come out of these 2 weeks of, or 2 days of filming that they did. So, like I said last episode, once those episodes are all complete, then I'm going to kind of run down what happened as a general consensus at the tapings, and we can see storylines kind of developing and go from there. But, like I said, coming out of Bound for Glory, this was a great episode. Speaking of Bound for Glory, I want to talk about a couple of favorite things that I got from that pay-per-view. Now, I'm not going to go and run down the entire thing. I'm sure most people know exactly what happened on that card anyways. But just for me personally, a few of the highlights for myself was, first off, my favorite match of the night, and almost wasn't even close, was Tessa Blanchard defending against Taya Valkyrie. This match, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, had everything. Like, these two girls worked their asses off, and I had said previously that without the build, I could really see that these two just sealed the show anyways, and in my opinion, they did. It was incredible. Taya's back. She looks fantastic. It's such a contrast of styles that these two had at Bound for Glory, but I thought it was beautiful. Everything about the match was great. The movesets, obviously, when you have two superstars at the top of their game, the moves are going to be great. But more than that, the storytelling in the ring, right? You have Tessa getting frustrated. You have Taya kind of playing into that. Taya being a little bit more the dominant force, and Tessa trying to have or find a way to get through it and fight through and overpower it. And just this match for me was incredible. If we're treated to knockouts, title matches like this at every pay-per-view and once in a while on television, man, I'm set. And once again, the knockouts division just keeps kicking down doors left, right, and center in this year 2018. Also, a highlight for me was the OGs and LAX. Man, that fight, it was a fight. It wasn't even a match. That fight was incredible. And shout out to my boy Chef. I know he's going to be listening. I'm sure he loved it. And a shout out to all the Bodega boys as well. But that match was, wow. Not only did it look, it obviously was extremely dangerous. But, man, kudos to those guys for really going for it. They could have played it safe, especially with the ring boards kind of floating. Actually, I saw Kid Ref at one point kind of pulling boards out of the ring that were slipping through way too much, but hats off to those guys. It was incredible. And when Conan came out at the end with the flapjack, that place blew. And what can you say? Conan's still over, and just really, really great stuff. Again, the person who keeps surprising me day in, day out, and exceeding my expectations all the time, constantly, I gotta say, is Santana. That guy is just incredible. Obviously, I'm not taking anything away from everyone else in the match. Ortiz was great. Homicide is an absolute monster. Kingston, I forgot how good he was in the ring because I haven't seen him work in a while. And obviously, you know what you're getting from Hernandez. So, just what a great match. These guys just absolutely worked their asses off in a highly dangerous situation. Very thankful that nobody got seriously injured in that one, because there's a few times I thought that one could have went sideways big time. And just one other standout thing for myself, and I know a lot of people were about it or mad or whatever. I don't understand why, but Mr. MVP of Impact Wrestling 2018, that's right, Sami Callihan, getting the big win, pinning Brian Cage for his first pinfall loss in Impact Wrestling. This guy, it doesn't matter what you think. The fact of the matter is, Sami Callihan has been the premier player, the most underrated guy helping everybody out at Impact Wrestling, the guy who's really forwarded a whole bunch of storylines. Sami Callihan is absolutely the MVP of Impact Wrestling this year, bar none, case closed. Not only did he get Eddie Edwards over, so whether it's been the Eddie Edwards, several different styles of saga, whether it's been the Pentagon Jr. and then Lucha Brothers stuff, now it's this Brian Cage material. And let's not forget, he really has put OVE on the map as a tag team, and he never takes a night off. When you see this guy work in the ring, it's full throttle all the time. He is just putting his body on the line all the time. It's incredible to watch. And for my money, there's been no more important person in Impact Wrestling this year than Sami Callihan. So MVP for sure, and he deserves all the kudos in the world. And definitely looking forward to where him and Brian Cage go from here in the next coming weeks and months. Hopefully months, because I think that these two could run a hell of a long program and a hell of a great program if they really kind of let them, or if management, I should say, kind of lets them go as they should go, if you will. So before I get out of here for tonight, mostly because my voice is shot and I don't know how much more talking I'm going to be able to get out of myself. I was going to start something this week, but I will debut it next week, and that's going to be looking a little bit more into the business side of Impact Wrestling. Everybody obviously knows that Impact is owned by Anthem Sports and Entertainment, but who are the main players? Who is Don Callis? Who is Scott D'Amore? Who is Ed Nordholm, for example? Going to be digging into kind of the backgrounds of these gentlemen, both in business and wrestling. This is going to be a 5-part series that is going to start next week. Like I said, I would have started it this week, but as you can probably hear, I don't really have the voice for it right now. So as usual, you can subscribe to us if you haven't already on YouTube, youtube.com/c/six-sided podcast. When you do subscribe as well, I make sure that I give you a shout out at the start of the next available episode. And also, as such, we're very close to 300 subscribers. Once we hit the 300 mark, I'm actually going to do a live simulcast, or a live cast, if you will, of an Impact episode. I'll just YouTube live it and maybe do some fun things like a couple of giveaways or have some fun trivia facts and things of that nature. So hopefully sooner rather than later, I hit 300 and we can do that. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun for mostly myself, but I hope for you guys as well. Also, if you aren't already, you can follow us on Twitter at 6_podcast. You can also reach me anytime for comments, questions, queries, quandaries, whatever you want to say. At Gmail, it's 6sidepod@gmail.com. Also, this show can be listened to in its entirety via direct download or streaming services like iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you find, steal, barter, sell, trade, whatever your favorite podcasts. And now, lastly, before I get out of here, I'd be remiss to talk about my good friends over at WrestlingWithWrestling.com. Obviously, you want to go check that out. Andre Corbeil, my man. You also want to check out all of your wrestling-related news, podcasts, interviews, and such can all be found there. Guys like myself, Robert Does Wrestling, J-Bone, the Clock Cleaners podcast, obviously everything from Andre, Chuck P. Man, honestly, it's a one-stop shop for all your wrestling knowledge, news, interviews, anything like that. WrestlingWithWrestling.com. Also want to say a special hello to new friends of the shows, Wrestle World. You can find them on Twitter at Wrestle World. World is spelt with a 0 instead of an O. I'm going to tag them for the first tweet in regards to this show. And I also want to shout out my good friends at the Daily Smark. Once again, you can find them on Twitter at Daily Smark. Just two other websites that are doing a lot of good in the wrestling community, getting a lot of us out there and really helping me out. So it's the least I can do for them. Make sure you go check them out. Once again, my host website, WrestlingWithWrestling.com, with the great Andre Corbeil, at Wrestle World, and at Daily Smark. You can find both of them on Twitter. So for my voice, which is leaving me at this very second, and for everyone that listens to this program, thank you all very much. Honestly, y'all could have been anywhere in the world doing whatever you wanted, but you took the time to listen to me, and I very much appreciate it. So once again, subscribe, like, leave us some comments, let me know what you think. And like I said, next week we will be starting the 5-part series, I should say, in regards to the management team of Impact Wrestling. So for myself, the Taxman, as I close out every show, I want to say take care of yourselves and each other. Good night, everyone.